Hello everyone, and welcome to Section 4 of the Encryption module for your Introduction to Information Security class. This section is where we actually get to start having some fun with encryption and applying some of the concepts that we've learned so far. Just to review, we've looked at the basics of encryption, what it does, how it works. We talked about the shared key method and the problems that are associated with it. And then we've looked at the predominant method, which is the public-private key method. In this section, we're actually going to be using the public and private key method to exchange some encrypted information. So the first thing that we want to do, just a quick note though, that this video also details how you are going to be completing your lab assignment too. So it serves a dual purpose. It shows you the software and a webcast, but it also shows you how to complete the lab. So what we want to do is we want to load up our encryption module website, and we want to click on Lab Assignment from the side menu here. I've already done that just to get us started, and here it is here. This page has all of the resources that you're going to need to complete the lab successfully. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to download the encryption software onto our computer. And for this lab, we've chosen a software called Cleopatra. It also goes by the name GnuPG4Windows. And it is an open source, completely free implementation of the GnuPG license. One important thing to note about this software is that it does not have a Macintosh equivalent. So if you're stuck using a Mac, you're going to have to create a virtual machine or use a Windows computer. That's very easy to do. Your instructor can certainly help you get a virtual machine running that'll work with this assignment very quickly, but you do need a Windows physical or virtual machine to complete this assignment. So I'm just going to click here to download the Cleopatra software for Windows, save it, and run it. Once the installer finishes, the installer is basically like any other Windows installer that you've ever used. Very, very simple. You just want to go through the prompts after it finishes downloading just to install the software on your computer. Okay, so there it goes. It's done downloading, and I can just click it and run it to install it. Click English. All these defaults are fine. Not going to read the terms and conditions because nobody ever does. It's free and open source software anyways, it really doesn't matter. All these defaults are good. Just keep clicking through them until it goes and installs the software. Okay, it's completed. It's finished installing the software. We click Next, and we don't have to reboot. Just click I want to manually reboot later, and click Finish. Now, to launch the GnuPG software, you want to click on your Start menu, and you want to expand all programs, and there it is there, GnuPG4Windows, and there's our Cleopatra icon. So I'll just click on that, and the Cleopatra software will load. Okay, so the software is loaded on our computer, and it's ready to do something. The first thing that we need to do now, before we can start encrypting some documents or exchanging some secure information, is we need to create our own public and private key pair. Okay, so our digital identity, our personal identity, which is the private key that we'll keep with us, and the public key that we'll send out to people so that they can send us encrypted documents. It's a very important first step. So what we'll do is we'll click on File, and we'll click New Certificate. One thing about this program that it does is it uses the word certificate and keys interchangeably. They're actually very different things, completely different. But for the purposes of this assignment and this software, you can use them interchangeably for now. Just be aware that they are actually different things, though. You see those terms later on. So I'll just click New Certificate, and I want to click Create a Personal Open PGP Key Pair. Give it a name, my name. This isn't actually my name. I'm just making some general, making a dummy key for the purposes of testing. jsmith@yahoo.com, and we click Next. Okay, we click the Create Key button, and it's going to ask us for a passphrase. This is one of the great things about not only this software, but the open PGP method, the public-private key method, is that it allows you to use passphrases as well as the key exchange to secure your document. It adds a double layer of security. So in the shared key method, we just had the passphrase. If I type the passphrase, whatever it is, the document's going to decrypt. With this, we get both. It's checking for the passphrase, and it's also checking to make sure that my private and public keys match up. So I'm going to give it a password. This password, though, one thing to note is that it's a password that corresponds to your private key. So whatever you do, you don't want to give that password out to people. So it can be a personal password. It just identifies your private key, okay? Just purely in case your private key falls into the wrong hands. But it does add an extra layer of encryption. So we type our passphrase, we click OK, and we re-enter it. The system will actually balk at you if you try to use an insecure password, so make sure you've got some uppercase and a few numbers in there too. So we click OK, and it says my key pair has been successfully created. It's got a digital fingerprint, all that wonderful stuff here. What we want to do now is we want to click Finish, and we want to export our public key to the world. This is the public key that we're going to send out to the world. Okay, so I want to just right-click on John Smith here and click Export Certificates. Okay, save it. You can call it whatever you want, J. Smith Public Key, and we click the Save button. And there on my desktop is the public key. Now, I just want to quickly show you, if I open this in Notepad, this is what the public key actually looks like. And all it is just a bit of rudimentary digital fingerprint and data in here that corresponds to our private key. So this is the code, the system code, that matches up with our private key. So when somebody goes to decrypt a document, it's using this information to try and find the matching private key. Okay, so that's just kind of interesting to show you. The next thing that we need to do in order to complete our lab assignment is we need to download and import our instructor's public key, because the instructor is the person that we're going to be making the encrypted document for. They're going to be the intended recipient of our encrypted document. So we need to import their public key into the Cleopatra software. So we'll go back to our website, and I created a little link for you here, your instructor's public key, that you can click on. If I just click on this in Google Chrome is going to try and be helpful for me, and it's going to just display that information on the screen. That's not what we want. We actually need this information in a file. So what you want to do, a little trick with Google and Firefox and Internet Explorer, is you right-click on here and you click Save Link As. It's going to actually allow you to save the file. Okay, so I'll save it, click Save, it downloads the file, and now I can import it. There's my instructor's public key, completely different from what mine looks like, and now I can import that into the Cleopatra software. So I want to click Import Certificates, Desktop, and I want to find my instructor's public key. There it is there. I double click, and I click OK. Okay, there's his public key. I've got this now, and now that I have this installed in this Cleopatra software, I can make documents that are encrypted just for him to be able to open. So I've got my super top secret document here. I'll just open it up in Word to show you. And it's a top secret document that I want to send to my instructor or my intended recipient. And I'm going to be sending it over the internet, so it needs to be secure, it needs to be encrypted while it's in transmission. And one important thing to note is that it really doesn't matter what kind of file this is. I could do this with a PDF, an Excel document. It doesn't have to be a Microsoft Office thing. It just so happens that this is a Word document, so that's what we'll be using. But you can encrypt any kind of file that is visible to the Windows file system. So I'll click File, and I want to click Decrypt or Sign and Encrypt Files. Sorry, Sign and Encrypt Files. So I click that. And all it's asking me at this point is to just select the file that I want to encrypt. Okay, so I'll double click my top secret document, I'll click Next, and now it's asking me who I want to send this file to, who's the intended recipient, or ultimately, who should be able to decrypt this file once they get it? Okay, so I want to select Ian Thompson, and I also want to select my own key too. You can see that my name shows up in bold there. I want to select us both, because if anything happens to this file, if I'm not sure if it's the right one, I need to be able to decrypt it too. If I just select Ian Thompson here, I will never be able to decrypt this file, even though I'm the one who created it. It's that secure that it will only decrypt for the people who are listed here. Okay, so I want to click Encrypt. It says Encryption succeeded, and I'll click Finish. And now if you notice on my desktop, I have a top secret docx.gpg file. I still have my original. It doesn't really do anything to the original file. It just creates this new document here with an encrypted container. And if I try to open this encrypted document in Microsoft Word, it's not going to open for me because it's been encrypted. It's been obfuscated. The contents will not be readable to Microsoft Word. But I'll just show you what happens if you try. Okay, so see, it's just all coming up as gobbledygook here. That's because the computer can't understand it anymore because it's been encrypted. So this is my encrypted document. This is what I want to do to send to my intended recipient. Okay, so when you go to submit this lab assignment, if you've done it correctly, you want to send your instructor your public key as well as an encrypted document that has been encrypted for whoever your instructor is. And what will happen when the instructor goes to mark this assignment is they'll look at this top secret document and they'll try and decrypt it on their computer. And if they have the matching key pair, if you've done it correctly, like we just did, the document will decrypt and it'll open for them. And then you'll get the full marks. If it doesn't, then it won't open. It hasn't been encrypted. Or it hasn't been encrypted successfully with the right matching key pair, so your instructor will let you know about that too, and you'll have to try again. So these are the two files here that you want to send to your instructor. Okay? Don't send the empty document without an encryption. That's no good, and the instructor doesn't want their own public key. They already have it. So just to show you what the decryption process looks like, I'm going to flash over to Ian's computer here. And there's my top secret document that I sent, that I just sent. Okay, so there's our encrypted document. He still can't open it, and he has to decrypt it. So fires up Cleopatra. There's the matching private key that corresponds to the public key that we already imported. And we'll click File, Decrypt to verify files, and I just want to select my encrypted file. Okay, top secret. Decrypt it, please. It's going to ask me for my passphrase, just to verify that I have the identity that corresponds to the public and private keys. And then I click OK. Overwrite, because I already have a file called top secret, but there it goes, decryption succeeded. Okay, and then I click OK, and there's our top secret file. So it was encrypted while it was being transmitted, and then because I am this person here, it's verified my identity, it has now been able to open the file. That's it. That's the basics of how encryption works and how you implement it using some freely available software. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to try and do this yourself. Install the software, import your instructor's public key, and then create an encrypted document for them and send it to them and see if you can get it to work. Thank you very much for your attention, and good luck on the lab.